Have you ever noticed that kindness sometimes turns against you? That when you try to be good, to help, support, and care, you are met instead with indifference, betrayal, or even contempt. And you ask yourself, why does this happen? Today, we're diving into the dark but honest wisdom of Carl Jung, a man who understood the human soul more deeply than anyone else. He knew that being simply good is not enough to live a full life. In this video, you'll discover why good people need darkness in order to grow stronger, and how to embrace your shadow side without losing yourself. Stay until the end. Jung's final insight may just transform your entire understanding of good and evil. And if reflections like this resonate with you, subscribe to the channel right now. There's more wisdom ahead for those who are seeking answers. Carl Jung, Swiss psychologist and philosopher, saw something more in each of us than just noble intentions. He spoke of the shadow, that part of our personality we hide, suppress, or deny. And for good people, the shadow is not merely a set of flaws, it is unused power. You may believe that kindness is your greatest strength, but Jung warned, if you do not know your own darkness, it will control you from within, and the world outside will exploit your weakness. Today, we will explore 5 dark but honest pieces of advice from Jung that will help you not only survive, but thrive in a complicated world. First insight: kindness without boundaries is a path to self-destruction. You might think that being good means always saying yes, always helping, always giving in. But Jung saw it differently and said, he who does not know his shadow becomes its victim. If you constantly give yourself to others without setting limits, you're not just draining yourself, you're losing respect. People stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as a tool. Think about it. How many times have you agreed to something uncomfortable just to avoid offending someone? How often have you taken on others' problems when everything inside you was screaming, enough? Jung believed that kindness without boundaries is not a virtue, it's an escape. An escape from conflict, from the fear of seeming selfish, from the fear of your shadow, that part of you that knows how to say no and protect you. How do you change this? Start small. Next time someone asks you for something that feels draining, pause and ask yourself, do I really want to do this? If the answer is no, say, sorry, I can't right now. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize too much, just say no. At first, it will feel scary. But then you'll feel relief, because as Jung taught, boundaries are not cruelty, they are a way to preserve your wholeness. Kindness only has value when it is conscious, not automatic. Second insight: embrace your anger, it is your strength. Good people often suppress their anger, believing that getting angry is wrong, that it destroys their light. But Jung looked deeper and said, the shadow is not only evil, it is also life energy. Anger is not the enemy, it's a signal. It shows where you've been hurt, where your boundaries were crossed, where you allowed too much. Think back to a time when you swallowed your resentment instead of speaking up. What did you feel afterward? Likely not peace, but emptiness or even shame. Jung explained that repressed anger doesn't disappear, it goes into the shadow and controls you from there. It turns into passive aggression, into long-held grudges, or even into physical illness. How do you use it? Stop being afraid of your anger. The next time something offends you, whether it's a small slight or deep betrayal, allow yourself to feel it. Don't shout or blame, just acknowledge it. I'm angry, and that's okay. Then decide what to do with it. Speak up, walk away, or let it go. Jung said, what we accept no longer destroys us. Anger, when conscious and directed, becomes your protection. A good person with access to their shadow is not a victim, they are a force to be reckoned with. Third insight: stop trying to save everyone, it's not your job. Good people often take on the role of savior. You see someone's pain or struggles and rush to help. But Jung warned, in saving another, you may drown yourself. He called this the Messiah complex, the unconscious need to feel important, disguised as kindness. Think about it. How many times have you poured your energy into someone who didn't even ask for help? How often have you tried to pull someone out of their darkness, only to find yourself trapped there? Jung saw this as a shadow trap. By focusing on others' problems, you avoid your own. This isn't kindness, it's escapism, and the world senses it. People stop valuing your help because you become an always available resource. What should you do? Learn to distinguish where your help is needed and where it's unnecessary. If someone's been complaining to you for the 10th time without changing anything, say to yourself, this isn't mine, Instead of diving into someone else's drama, ask, what do I need right now? Maybe it's silence, rest, or working on yourself. Jung taught, he who does not save himself cannot save anyone. Letting go of the savior role isn't selfish, it's wisdom. People will start respecting you when they realize you're not their permanent crutch. Fourth insight, allow yourself to be imperfect. Good people often strive for perfection. You want to be flawless, always kind, always fair, always composed. But Jung said, perfection is the illusion of the ego, not the path to wholeness. In chasing an ideal, you suppress your shadow, your weaknesses, mistakes, dark thoughts, and that makes you vulnerable. Why? Because no one respects someone pretending to be a saint. People can sense the inauthenticity. When you hide your flaws, you lose your authenticity, and it's authenticity that draws people in. Jung believed that real strength lies in embracing your duality. You can be kind, but not always, generous, but not endlessly, gentle, but with an uncheckable core. How to apply this? Stop apologizing for not being perfect. If you've made a mistake, say, yes, I did that, and I'll take care of it. If you're tired of being kind, admit, today, I'm not in the mood to help. Be honest with yourself and others. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, not the image you try to present. Imperfection makes you real, and real people are respected far more than statues. Fifth insight, sometimes you need to be bad to stay true to yourself. This brings us to Jung's darkest, yet perhaps most liberating advice. You've grown used to thinking that being good is your essence, your duty to the world, but Jung saw it differently. He said, the shadow is not only what we hide, it's what makes us whole. Sometimes, to protect yourself, to preserve your strength and dignity, you need to stop being convenient for everyone. Sometimes, you need to be bad, not in the sense of doing harm, but in the sense of refusing to play by someone else's rules. What does this mean? Think of situations where your kindness became a weakness. Maybe you stayed silent when you were humiliated, just to avoid conflict. Maybe you forgave those who betrayed you, just to keep the peace. Jung warned, if you don't give your shadow a voice, it will emerge on its own, as resentment, burnout, or even self-hatred. Being bad, in Jung's sense, is not about cruelty, it's about the courage to say, I won't tolerate this. It's about being willing to place yourself above others' expectations. What does that look like in real life? Imagine a coworker who constantly shifts their tasks onto you, and you agree, because that's what a good person does. Instead, try saying, no, that's your responsibility. Or a friend who has used you for years as an emotional dumping ground, but never asks how you're doing. Stop answering their calls, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. Jung called this integrating the shadow. You don't become a villain, you simply stop being a victim. How to begin? Choose one situation where your kindness is working against you, and decide. Here, I will be bad. It could be saying no, giving a blunt response, or even walking away from a toxic environment. Do it calmly, without unnecessary emotion, simply as a fact. Jung said, he who looks inside and accepts his shadow gains power over himself. People may be surprised, even offended, but over time, they will respect you more. Because true authority doesn't come from pleasing others, but from honesty, even when it's dark. Why does it work? Let's break it down. Why do these seemingly grim insights actually save good people? Jung believed that the human psyche is a balance of light and shadow. If you suppress the shadow, your anger, your selfishness, your instinct to defend yourself, you lose that balance. You become one-sided, and one-sidedness makes you weak. The world is unforgiving to those who can't stand up for themselves. Modern psychology confirms this. Studies show that people who set boundaries and express negative emotions are less likely to suffer from burnout and depression. Anger, when consciously directed, builds confidence. Letting go of the savior role reduces stress. And accepting your imperfections makes you authentic. And authenticity draws others in far more than a flawless mask ever could. Jung added a deeper, philosophical layer to this. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It reveals where you break yourself for others, and teaches you how to rebuild yourself again. But there's one more layer. Good people often fear that embracing their darkness will destroy their essence. Jung responded, the shadow does not extinguish the light, it makes it shine brighter. Being bad at the right moment isn't a betrayal of your kindness, it's its protection. You don't become a cynic, you become wise. And that wisdom makes the world see you not just as a good person, but as a strong one. How do you bring it all together in life? Let's combine these insights into a single whole. Step 1. Set boundaries so your kindness doesn't become a weakness. Step 2. Embrace your anger as a source of strength, not shame. Step 3. Stop trying to save everyone, focus on yourself. Step 4. Allow yourself to be imperfect so you can be real. Step 5. Be bad when necessary in order to stay true to yourself. Imagine what that looks like. You no longer waste yourself on people who don't value you. You feel anger, but use it to defend your interests. You help only when it truly matters, not out of habit. You're not afraid of mistakes, and you don't hide them. And when someone crosses the line, you don't smile and stay silent, you draw the line. This doesn't mean you stop being kind. It means your kindness now has a backbone. Jung called this the process of individuation, becoming a whole person. You're not just a good person, you are a person who knows themselves. And when you know yourself, light and shadow, you gain a strength that cannot be ignored. People stop seeing you as a victim of circumstance and start seeing you as someone who steers their own destiny. What can you do right now? Take a minute and think about your life. Where is your kindness making you weak? Maybe it's a relationship where you're not appreciated, a job where you're being used, or that inner voice that keeps telling you to be perfect. Pick one of Jung's principles and apply it tomorrow. For example, say no where you always said yes. Or acknowledge your anger and give it space, even if only in a journal. Start small, but start. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your shadow is not a curse, it's a key. Use it. In a week, you'll feel something shifting inside you. In a month, you'll notice how your relationships start to change. This isn't magic, it's the truth about human nature that Jung understood before any of us. Conclusion: your darkness is your ally. Let's sum it up. Being good is a beautiful thing, but being only good is dangerous. Jung taught that true strength is born in the balance between the light of your kindness and the darkness of your shadow. Set boundaries to protect yourself. Embrace your anger so it becomes your shield. Stop trying to save everyone in order to save yourself. Be imperfect so you can feel alive. And allow yourself to be bad when needed, to remain whole. Imagine what it's like to live without guilt for setting boundaries, without fear of your shadow. To know that you can be kind, but not weak. To feel that your life is not a series of sacrifices, but a path you choose for yourself. It is possible. Jung shared these dark truths not to frighten us, but to set us free. Start with one step, and you'll see how the world begins to respond differently. Thank you for walking this path with me. If these thoughts resonated with you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There's more to come: reflections on life, psychology, and the wisdom of great minds. Share in the comments which of Jung's insights spoke to you the most. Or tell a story where your kindness backfired. I'll read and respond, and help you find a way forward. See you in the next video.